Okay guys, welcome to Serengeti Show Live, and this is episode 30. We've come to the end of our journey through the Serengeti, and we've started in the south at Ndutu, and we've worked our way to the west and central and all the way now in the northern Serengeti. With a little bit of luck, we'll still bring you the river crossings this year. We're just seeing how we can fund that, and that's another month here. This project was all about conservation and conservation through tourism. We believe that there must be a closer connection between travel or tourism related companies and conservation on the other hand. As COVID-19 has exposed that these two are really linked to each other, especially up here in East Africa, and that you can become part of conservation. All you have to do is travel to Tanzania, travel to Africa, and every park that you visit, through your park fees and through your presence there, you contribute to conservation. And you just have to pick and choose, and that park that you visit and the park fees that you pay there might not just help that national park, but it could help other national parks within the region or within the country. There are about 3 months that we've brought you Serengeti Show Live, and I must say that for me personally, this has been a very personal project, and hopefully we can save some companies and save some jobs and help some guides and ultimately pay the price for conservation. The Conjo area right on the Sand River, so they're very quick movement to the north through the tall grass. For me personally, the flamingos at Lake Magadi in the central Serengeti was probably my favorite sighting. Some things are harder to film than others, and with some things you need a little bit of luck, and with the flamingo just turning and coming back towards the cameras was something that we really needed, and it's just such a calm and tranquil and visual sighting that I personally, although I love all the big cats, that the flamingo was a very special one for us. Alright, lions are the only kind of social cats that you find. The rest are mostly solitary, so lion sightings are always full of fun. And but the one lion sighting that sticks to my mind and that I will remember for a very long time was the upside down male lion that looked at us and was so calm, although he was in a kind of transition territorial area that we found out later, and he just gave us such a visual, appealing piece of film, and we really needed it at the time. You know, we wanted to have some really good sightings and good things that would make an impact and make people come back to Tanzania as soon as possible. So that line just you couldn't have asked for a better kind of scenario with a Hidden Valley plains, and we were quite low down and a low angle to the line, and for him to just turn around and give us this very cat-like, domestic cat-like look was absolutely incredible. Ngorongoro crater was a very special place to go visit, especially because we were the only people there. But it was also really important for us to find the iconic Ngorongoro crater's black rhino, and there's always a lot of pressure. But we wanted to do that as filmmakers, or we wanted to have a really steady shot, and we wanted to get fairly close and have a kind of a full frame. And Ngorongoro was an incredible experience, but we were just really happy and relieved to have been able to bring you the visuals of the black rhino that walk on the crater floor.
Certainly. Perhaps not as symbiotic as we thought. He's so alert and constantly listening to any noise, because he can't see this far, so he's aware of us, but he doesn't quite know what to make of us at the moment.
Wow, almost overwhelming, but we gotta move on. The leopard is very special to see, and they are by far the prettiest cats and the hardest cats to find. So it was very important for us to be able to find a leopard, but also to find really good leopard sightings. We looked hard, we looked on the southern plains, but we always missed them. And finally in Serena, we not just got a really good leopard sighting, but it was a very special one with very nice interaction. And the mom and a male cub that is quite grown up already, had a lot of walking and moving through the trees and a few jumps, and to start our leopard within the series on that note was really special, and we definitely felt a lot of relief after that. The second leopard sighting that we saw actually didn't make it onto the show because we didn't take any audio at the time. But it was another sighting of the same female and male cub, just in a different location. And this time the tree was on the ground and it was a dead tree. And obviously this male, young male, is reaching the age where he needs to kind of leave his mom, and they both know that. But it's kind of the last few moments or time that these two are spending together before the male gets pushed out. So it was really, again, a spectacular setting with a lot of interaction. It started with them calling each other. So we would like to include this sighting now that we don't need any audio with it. So really a special sighting, and consider this as a bit of a bonus for you to see. It was absolutely beautiful. wanted to really find a male leopard with attitude and presence and physically fairly large. We wanted to show our audience what a big leopard looks like, and this male was really skittish, and we did bump into him, but it was always far off, or he moved down a tree quite quickly once or twice. And finally, with a friend of ours, we kept track of this leopard, and we got called to this leopard sighting, and because he was feeding, he was very relaxed up in the tree. We could get to about a couple of 100 meters away, and we just had a spectacular hour and a half with this really large male, which is just a completely different animal from the other leopards that we saw. The Western Corridor was really a great place to go, not just because the migration were there, but it's a very different experience. It requires a different type of guiding. You need to really pay attention. You have thick riverine forest, so you can't just quickly dash through it. It requires a bit of time, and it also gives you different sightings. What was spectacular on this particular day is I think we were watching a fish eagle, and then a monitor lizard. It was in the same kind of sequence that we filmed that day. But to find this crocodile fishing with water that's tumbling over the low water bridge was amazing to see, and something different, but really beautiful to see that. And that's the Western Corridor view. It's spectacular. This is supposed to be an exit, but it's impossible to exit something that just continues and continues. A big part of our show also included the Great Migration, and we had spectacular sightings. We basically followed the migration with Great Migration camps helping us, and we've been fairly close to large herds for quite some time now. But one of the migration sightings that we had that really stands out also happened on the Western Corridor, and it was completely unexpected. It's slow, tough going, not many roads on the Western Corridor, and then all of a sudden we came over this hill, and there was just a huge herd that were on the move, and they formed these different lines, and it must have carried on for a couple of hours with the migration just walking past us. And to see the river crossings are great, to see the carving, but those things are quite expected. But to see the herds on the move like that on the Western Corridor is something that you don't see every day. There she goes. There she goes. Both of them. and she doesn't know which one to pick. She keeps on going. Any of these shows requires some drama and some action, and it requires you to capture a moment, and it would include a kill, or we wanted to have some interaction between species, and for us to bump into that line pride at Mahupe, we know they are there, but at the moment that we just kind of drove down the hill and we spotted these heads that popped up, and at that exact moment there was a herd of a couple of hundred wildebeest not too far off, and for them to walk straight through that valley and to give us the opportunity to film it was extraordinary. And with any filming of a kill, you know, it's big space that you cover, and for us to make the right decisions in split seconds was amazing, and to bring you those visuals was quite lucky, but also really satisfying. It's like she's more playing with her food than. Okay. Lesson 1.
Yeah. She said go and find your own food.
Yeah, I know. With cheetah, we looked a long time for cheetah. We spent a lot of time at Gold Koppies and at Ndutu. Because of all the rain, there was quite tall grass, but we needed to find cheetah, and that we did. For us to then be able to film and follow a cheetah throughout a hunt of a Thomson's gazelle was not just extremely lucky, but it required patience and it required some skill not to interfere with the actual hunt itself, but to also to be able to bring it. I remember we were standing behind kind of a green bush where this Thomson's gazelle went to lie down, and with a little bit of luck the Thomson's gazelle could have come straight towards us, or to the left or to the right, but under the circumstances, with wildlife you never know, and we're still really happy we got those visuals. Oh, there she goes. Got it.
Wow.
Got it already.
Wow.
Good thing we didn't disturb, but that she got so close, didn't even have to chase. And now she has to suffocate and hold on and hold on. And I don't want to disturb her that much, but she's got a meal.
Yes, yes.
Yay. That's amazing. Hanging on, suffocating.
Suffocating now. Wow.
Very quickly drag it into a bush the moment it's dead, but now she just has to hang on. Excellent work. That's
Good job.
That's a decent meal.
Yeah.
That's a decent meal. Big one over there. Elephant in the Serengeti, and especially on the southern plains, really great to see, because there's no obstruction between you and the elephant. And a great sighting that we had was when we saw the two bulls, or we went past two bulls and then we saw the breeding herd. And that is not just a wonderful sight to have a low angle with the elephant and shaking his head, but it's also for us a visual proof that conservation in the Serengeti is working. There's breeding herds, there are bulls, there's different ages of offspring without gaps in the reproduction. So for us, it's not just beautiful to see, but it also shows us that conservation in this country is working. It just needs funding, and it just needs people to come visit the park. It's so nice. Here's the mum closest to us. So that's the cow that has a couple of generations of. But if the bull joins the breeding herd, then there must be some of the females ready to reproduce. I'm just going to switch off a bit, and then we'll just enjoy this sighting. I don't see any of the big bull in must. You can almost smell that bull from quite far off, so I don't think this one is there yet. If he comes this way, see how close he wants to get to us. Again, he will decide the distance. He wants to walk around. Some respect and give him way. He wants to follow the females. So he's now definitely showing us he wants his space. So we'll slowly give him his space without giving him the confidence. It definitely looks like he's in musk. But gentle, telling us how he feels. And he says, please get out of the way, I want to follow the ladies. And then, so that's great. So we're gonna just wait for him to cross, because that's where he wants to be. Strong sense of protection even early on in the elephant's life. Elephant is an iconic species in Africa, and in recent times it's also become a symbol of successful conservation efforts. There's only about 500,000 elephant left in Africa, and to have elephant in the Serengeti these days and the numbers of elephant that we have is an extraordinary story. It was really important for us to portray how to work with elephant, how to manage elephant, but also to show how calm and peaceful elephant can be if you approach them and if you handle them in the right way. So the sighting of the elephant calming down and having a dust bath with a matriarch right in front, and the dust in the backlit kind of visuals that we got from that sighting was really beautiful, but it was also a very calm experience and something that we will really remember for a long time. They have a sense of such wisdom, and seems like they know everything. So you see the trunks are not really going up anymore because we're out of their smell. They smell them now, we'll just wait for them to relax. Okay guys, sure. Okay guys, just an example of
how to relax, especially elephant if you are upwind from them, and we're going to let them be, continue their bath, and we'll see what's down the road. Wow, so amazing. See how these little ones seek the safety of the adults, but wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning.
Lions and trees these days, people see it in Uganda and Queen Elizabeth National Park, Lake Manyara. You even see it quite often in the Serengeti with lions up fairly easy acacia tortillas or fairly climbing friendly trees. But to see lions up a very difficult tree to climb on Ngorongoro crater floor was something that I've never witnessed on all my time here in Tanzania. And it was also, again, something that we didn't expect, and a real good example of every day that you go out is different, and it's just so exciting to have the anticipation of what might we see today. A very special sighting, also because it shows that this ecosystem is healthy and well looked after, was the huge buffalo herd on this kind of top of a little hill on the eastern plains of the Serengeti after a very long day. For us to see buffalo numbers, and I can confirm now that we've bumped into even more of these large herds of buffalo, really tells us a story about a successful conservation efforts here, and with Tanzania National Parks really doing a wonderful job. Buffalo are indicators of stability and that things are going well in the ecosystem, and for that we are very grateful. Late afternoon Serengeti in the western side of the southern plains. A nice bull turning back, smelling us now with the wind approaching them, and that should spook them a bit. Oh, here's another nice bull with his head held high. Oh, bull here, the muddy one. You see how they tend to rather stand their ground than run away, because they're not the fastest thing. Look at this old boy. Nice horns on him. Yeah, lifting his head high. And he has been through the wars, so he doesn't even bother to run. But we're not here to harm them. Very nice afternoon light. Here's a young bull trying his luck. But he will lose his courage soon and go. Yeah, it's okay, let's let them be. Some mating going on there in the middle. You know, it's like a family show, but you know, it's nature. Okay, let them be. Okay guys, we're on the banks of the Maua River, and we have finished shooting the 30th episode today, so this is the end for us. And what a fitting way to end it right here on the Maua River and waiting for the crossings. And we have to really say thanks to TANAPA and Tanzanian Tourist Board and all the guys that's made this possible. And it's been a very satisfying, humbling journey all the way from Ndutu in the southern Serengeti up to the central Serengeti, Moru Koppies and the eastern plains, and then we went west to the Melia River, and we ended here on the Maua River. But we want to bring you the crossings, which we think is 2 to 3 weeks away. We think it would be open towards the end of July, beginning of August. And for us to do so, we need your help. We need you guys to hit the donate button and subscribe and share. And we're the only people out here at the moment, so this is probably the only way you're going to see the crossings this year. So if you have any interest, please make it possible. We're going to take a break for a couple of weeks, play some golf, maybe go to the beach. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're going to be taking a break, but we'll stay up here, and hopefully with your help we'll show you the river crossings. We want to thank the team from Great Migration Camps for looking after us, Zebedia and Alexi, the chef, Sally, and then our camera guy Brendan Allen. Without the crew this wouldn't have been possible, and we hope you really enjoyed the show. Conservation through tourism. If you guys can come visit, we can look after the national parks of Africa, and tourism is really linked to conservation. You know, the two go hand in hand. So the money that you come spend here in Tanzania and East Africa and the rest of Africa really is directly linked to conservation and pays the bills for conservation. So come visit as soon as you can, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Stay tuned.